Good afternoon, class. 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 Let's try this again. And forgive me for the awkward start to this video. I don't know what to blame it on, except it is first hour right now. And I'm a little tired, I've got to admit. We had our first jazz band this morning. I'm not quite used to getting up that early, so that might be why things are, say, a little off. Plus, I didn't get my second cup of coffee today, which is kind of a big deal. At least, if you know me well enough, a second cup or a third cup is needed. So take a second, maybe talk quietly amongst yourselves, and just forgive me while I, well, hold on. Much better. Hold on. Now that is much better. Oh, okay. I should probably start today's class by saying that I hope that your day is going really quite well, and I hope that classes have gone well, and it's a Friday today, so I hope that you're ready for the weekend, and that you're excited, and it's kind of cold outside, but hopefully it'll warm up a little bit so that you can enjoy everything, and Aida's stuff is posted today, and congratulations, and I'm sorry's, and everything else, and it's going to be so awesome, and okay, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Welcome to Diploma Program Music for the Diploma Program Music for the day, and let's start by saying that the purpose of today's lesson is to discuss musical terms that you may or may not be quite as familiar with. For example, you are probably familiar with this term, but you may have forgotten this one. Now, pay close attention to this video, because in a little bit you will be split into small groups, and you will have to do a similar video lesson for your peers. But I cannot stress enough that please, whatever you do, please, do not simply copy this video. Please do not do exactly what I do, because I've put a lot of time, and I've put a lot of effort, and I've put a lot of thought into this, and I just ask, please do not simply copy this. Please get creative. Please think about it, and please don't let me down. Now, in just a little bit, I'm going to split you into 4 different groups, and I have a list of 40 different musical terms from George Gershwin's An American in Paris that all of you will need to know. Each of your groups will take 10 of the words, and you will then teach those words to your classmates in a video much like this one. Now, there are many different ways to do this. You could choose to create your own script altogether, as I have. I've got the little words going underneath, and then I have a definition sheet for you that you'll get at the end. You could do just about anything. You could take something that has already been written, and you could read it to your audience in the style of a word that you've been given. For example, if you had the word staccato, which means separated, not just short, but separated, you might take something that we all already know and say it very separated or very staccato. For example, because you know I am all about that bass. Bout that bass, no treble. I am all about that bass. Bout that bass, no treble. I am all about that bass. Bout that bass, no treble. I am all about that bass. about that bass. You might even it is take clear the words that you've been given and just choose to read them to us in the style that you've been given them. For example, you might sit here and say, legato. Or maybe you say something like, allegro. Or even, ritardando. Maybe you want to take a story and read it to us. And instead of acting out the words that you have, maybe you want to put a soundtrack underneath the reading and have that kind of act out the music itself. Literally, with music. So maybe you have the word giocoso. And you start reading a story and you put some giocoso music underneath it. Piggy is trying to make Gerald happy. We'll go partway in here. Piggy says, I will make him happy. Cue the giocoso. Yee-haw! A cowboy! Oh, Gerald loves cowboys, but he is still sad. Now, even though the book ended with Gerald, at least midway through there, we ended with Gerald still being sad, there was an appropriate time in there where giocoso fit quite well, because giocoso means playful. Endless possibilities, but at the end of it, everyone should fully understand what your terms mean, and you should also have a definition sheet that you can hand out to the rest of the class so that we can reference it as we start to look at An American Paris later on in the year. Again, no matter what you choose, be creative, make a lasting impression, and make sure that your peers are able to recall each term from your presentation. The end.